In this video, we're going to learn low ground tips and tricks that you can use in your fights whenever you're in arena, scrim games, or DreamHack or Cash Cups. I'm going to show you guys some things that FaZe Martoz uses in his YouTube videos to help you get better at fighting from the low ground. This is going to be an analysis video of just teaching you new tips and tricks. Let's get started. 80% of people that watch my YouTube videos are not subscribed to my channel, so if you guys can hit that like button and that sub button for the one time, it would be greatly appreciated. I did a poll on my community page from YouTube, so if you guys want to vote for the next video, I'm going to do another poll similar to this one, so you guys can vote for the next video that you want to watch. I appreciate everyone who voted in this one. Let's go. One of the things I want to talk about is this side jump action that Martoz does. It's really useful, and even I use it in my arena games. It's pretty much as basic as it seems, but it does have some key pointers that you need to keep in mind whenever you're trying to pull this off so you don't get shot. In this particular example, Martoz decides to jump out the back side of the wall over here that he was boxed up in so that he can get a quick angle and take that guy up top off guard. Now, you got to be aware because depending on how good the guy is above you, he might predict your movement and try and double floor and cone you and get a double edit on you. Just be aware that this move is not a 100% success rate, but it works really well in situations like this, especially when you're box fighting someone for the first couple seconds of the engagement. They're not going to expect you to hop out the box like a bunny and hit them in the head for a lot of damage. So if you're ever boxed up in a situation like this where there's a guy on your head and he's trying to axe your wall, let's say he's right here, right in front of me, okay, axing this wall. He's right here. What I would do is just come around the side. That way I kind of get an angle and he can't really track me that well. And I run over here and then shoot him and then build. But what I do is I place this wall and then floor up so that way I catch myself. So in a really quick motion, all this is I'm boxed up. Let's say he's hacking my wall right here. So he's hacking, I'm coming over to the side. I jump, then I place a wall and I double up on the floors and I catch myself, and then I'm good to go and I can try and play low ground from here. Martoz has this key thing that he does every time he's in a low ground situation. He keeps this barrier between him and the guy that he's versing. The guy never has a clean shot on him because he's always pushing a wall in front of his face. That way he can't get shot and he's the one in control of the fight. It's like kind of sticking your hand out like this whenever you're talking to someone to just keep a barrier so that way they can't go near you. So the second that guy came up the stair, he instantly put a floor there, blocked himself, creates a new box, and then does a different variation of the last tip I just mentioned. Now, if we put ourselves in the same situation, he put that stair out and then turned around, shot, built, kept that barrier between himself, and then he put a stair, he reverses it, and then since that guy just so happened to fall down on this box, he thought it was his wall, so he boxes up, and then Martoz comes in and bodies him. Now, I bet a lot of people, even people who are really good at the game, get confused about this next thing. Whenever you're trying to break someone down, you really don't know exactly when to stop breaking someone down. For example, when you break someone down and then they just drop on you and hit you heavy in the face, then you get aggravated and it throws you off guard and you might lose the fight because of it. Martoz did something really smart here, but wasn't anything too crazy. All he did was act like he was breaking down, which he did, but in the back of his head, he knew that he wasn't going to be able to chop this guy all the way. So what he did was he started axing, got a couple walls down, and then turned around and waited for the guy to drop because he was predicting his movement. The best ways to get kills across any game is when you try and predict people and actually do it right. So what he did here was extremely smart because he acted like he was breaking someone down and then waited for him to drop down and line up right in between his crosshair, and he got a fat pump on him. This just goes to show even afterwards that piece control is really important in every situation. Across every YouTube video Martoz has ever made, he has so much piece control involved in every move he does that it really makes him stand out and puts him above the other players. So not only is this a low ground video, but you want to focus on piece control. And if you guys want a good piece control video, I'm gonna link Martoz's piece control video that I made in the top right hand corner as well. A lot of times you really have to pay attention to what your opponent's builds are holed up on, so that way you can knock them down the fastest way possible. If it's only attached by your walls, all you have to do is edit the top row really quickly rather than axe it twice because it's quicker. But if it's not your walls, then obviously you're forced to axe it. But just keep in mind that breaking your opponent's builds by editing your own is way faster, and you should do this more often because it can knock them down and make them frustrated and make them lose mats. And you never know, you might be able to get a shot on them if you shoot right as the build breaks. If you're able to predict where they actually are before you see them, you'll be able to get a shot on them, which Martoz does a lot in these videos. Now this move right here is something that I wanted to add because it shows a counter to the move that I just showed you guys, I believe in tip 3. If you act like you're about to jump out, it might get the other guy to jump in your direction. And then as you see here, Martoz uses the wall to his protection the entire time. So his enemy and him are on a line literally the entire time. So as the guy is jumping, he's moving. So they're moving in almost a straight line the entire time. So that guy has the smallest angle on him possible to get a shot on him. Because once that guy jumps in the air, he has left hand peek, which is worse, and Martoz has the right hand advantage, which gets him a fat pump. So just keep in mind, there's always counters to every single move you're doing on the low ground, so there's always something that you can add or manipulate to get it in your advantage and maybe get the kill. Here is yet again another variation of that side jump move that I'm talking about. Always try and get ways to jump off the side and catch people from a different angle from what they're expecting. This is something that's done so frequently, and if you want to end fights quickly, the best way to do it is to try and get elevated side jumps where you can hit them with a fat pump. So from here, you just come along the side, you shoot, and then since that wall was already placed on this side, all he had to do was edit this, cone, wall, and then shot, and now he's boxed up and he can do anything he likes, even if he misses that shot. In the actual video, Martoz came in like this and then shot. If I were you guys, I would just edit like this and try and get a shot on him this way, so that way you can reset this wall. But even if you were inside this wall, you also place this cone, so you have piece control over this as well. So you can shoot and then do this, and now he'll be underneath, and then you can reset and do the whole thing over again. Or you could do this Dorito edit where you edit like this and then edit the back one and shoot him here. But me personally, if I were to get piece control on this, I would obviously have this open. I would reset and then try and flip up like this and get a shot on him this way. Doing peanut butter shots for me is just something that I'm really used to, but the more advanced one is to definitely do this Dorito edit. Now, there's a bunch of things going on in this clip, and I'm going to try and break them down as fast as possible. Notice here how he's really focused on what the guy is doing from the high ground. He's on the low ground looking through his builds to track the guy and get an angle on him so he can line up a play. This is something that's so important that a lot of people really don't seem to understand. Whenever you're working on trying to 1v1 someone from the low ground, you need to see where they are. And the only way you can do that is by keeping that barrier, but at the same time, as that barrier is being built, you can see him through the build. That's something that's really important that not a lot of people do whenever they're in fights. They lose track of where their guy is, and it causes them to die because they don't know where they're getting shot from. If you could really focus on tracking your guy throughout the entire time while you're on the low ground, you're gonna have such a way easier job of trying to kill that guy because you're gonna know exactly where he is. It's gonna help you predict and come up with plays in the midst of a game. Martoz placed that floor, which really set up this whole play. Once he edited that floor so that that guy was stuck and had to jump and time his jump correctly, that guy almost looked like he was stuttering in what he was doing and he didn't exactly know what to do. He was scared and he was trying to build up. Martoz capitalized on this by being really patient. It then led him to do the exact same move that we were talking about, where he catches himself but at the same time shoots before all that, and he got 153 damage on the guy in the zone while it was ticking. That's a big game changer, and that guy at that point was pretty much dead. Fighting from the low ground is not as difficult as you might think, and honestly, some people might even prefer it. There are times where you definitely do want the high ground, but sometimes having the low ground is not as bad as you think. If you guys have any further questions regarding this, feel free to come through on my Discord, as I have PC related questions and Fortnite related questions where you guys can ask me anything you like. Don't forget that I also have a Twitch channel where you guys can come through and ask me questions live. I say hello to everyone who comes through, and I'm very active when I read chat. We have a very small community, but we're growing at the same time, so I appreciate all the love, and I just wanted to say thank you for all the support recently. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Don't forget to use code KenBeans in the item shop whenever you're going to purchase something. Don't forget to drop a like on this video for the one time, and I will talk to you guys in the next one. Doses, peace.